I decided to finally do a list of my gear. I was on the Appalachian Trail. I actually haven't done the math yet, like 550 around there before I got really sick and had to get off trail. So yeah, going through my gear was a little bit emotional. This could be some of that water, the septic shock water. I was pretty satisfied with my gear, so I just want to say what I brought, really briefly what I thought about it, and some things that I maybe would have changed. So saw this in my videos if you watch them. My pack was a Hyperlight Mountain Gear Wind Rider. I think it's a 3400 size. Ended up ordering both a small and a medium through REI. I have a 17-inch torso and I ended up getting with a small, sticking with that one, and I liked it. I went with white because it was cheaper and a little bit lighter.
I forgot to mention, I really like the Dyneema. The pack never wetted through, and I did not use a pack cover or even a liner on the inside.
On the top, I strapped my sleep pad. This is a Thermarest Z-Lite. This thing is like 5 years old. I cut off a couple of the panels. I did not sleep very good on this. I woke up like every hour and a half and like turned like a rotisserie chicken because my hips would hurt. Sometimes my legs would go numb. I was getting to the point in trail where I was really considering upgrading to an inflatable pad, and I probably would have done that, but advantage, you can throw this thing down anywhere. I ate lunch on it every day. I didn't have to worry about puncture holes. I'm probably gonna sit on it now. Okay, so going inside of my pack, and I'll go through it how I had it packed up. I put this in here as a placeholder. In the top, I would put my Patagonia, I got the Nano Puff. It's a synthetic puffy. I currently have it stored away with my winter stuff. It held up really great. I was really satisfied with it. For me, I was happy I didn't get down because it was such a wet spring that I had. Side by side, I would put my ditty bag, which I'll go through in a little bit, in my tent body. So this is the Nemo Hornet 2-person. I got it on mega sale because it is the old edition. They've since updated it. The rainfly cutout was pretty tall towards my head, and I know that they've since lowered it in the newer model. I think they maybe added like these plastic things to make the inside more filled out. Overall, I was pretty pleased with this tent. I was not confident when we had a lot of rain. It's so thin that the floor would get soaked through pretty quickly. I don't think I rode out any major storms in my tent. It would stay in the shelter when I knew they were coming. I was a little afraid of trees falling on my tent. This is the tent and the fly. Fits in a half bag. The poles, stakes, which I would put down here in the front. That was the most common thing that I think people would lose. So underneath of the tent and my ditty bag, I would carry my food bag. This really made the size of my pack increase or decrease depending on how much food I was carrying. This food bag is from Light AF, like with their bear bag kit. I've got the little rock throw with it. 2 recommendations right off the bat. In the beginning, everybody has a blue bag, whether it's from Z-Pags or Light AF. Get yourself a sticker and stick it on there so that you know which bag is yours on the bear cables or in the tree. I was really glad I did, or draw on it or do whatever you want. Second tip that I would recommend is a carabiner with a locking system. The line doesn't slip through this when you've got a really heavy food bag haul. I don't know if you can see this, but it would lock so it couldn't open. I also used these to strap my Crocs on the front of my bag so that I knew that it was locked and they wouldn't fall off. These are my Crocs. I got these from Dick's. So what was inside of my bag? Obviously food. This is a Tokes titanium 750 milliliter pot. Size was fine. Came with a lid. Inside of it I kept a lighter. I was looking for a mini but I couldn't find one. Fuel canister, small one, fits inside of this nice. I would always have a bandana. When everything was wet, it kept this from rusting. And also, I know it's gross, but I barely cooked in this, but when I did, I would just put my bandana in there sometimes. I rinsed it out with my hand, and then I would clean it off and have this nasty food bandana still in here, and I'd hand wash it when I'd get to town. A couple times I think I put this on the outside of my pack. So what I use for a stove, I had this thing for 5 years. It's a little heavy. What is it? It's like a Snow Peak Gigapower. I think it's like 4 ounces, which is really heavy. You can get a stove off of Amazon for like $20 or $30. That's an ounce or less. The reason I kept it is I was cheap. I knew it was reliable, and there's a self lighter. Spoon, I did the Sea to Summit, I think, just a long titanium spoon. I get the long spoon. This is a handmade koozie. I used Darwin on the trail. I think I used his tutorial. I almost always freezer bag cooked, and then I'd put it in here, let it soak. I kept my toothbrush stuff in there so that I wouldn't forget to hang it. I had a travel toothbrush, which is disgusting, and I probably should throw this away. Little toothpaste is permanent like retainer bars behind my teeth, so I put one of those little flossers inside of these pharmacy pill bags. I carried a whole thing of floss. I could probably lose a little weight. Then my food bag was also always packed with a bunch of Ziplocs. I take turns buying them with other people in your trail group. Freezer bag kind, we learned that the hard way, that they'll melt if you're not freezer bag. I think Iceberg learned that the hard way. I use Ziploc bags for the garbage. TMI, I don't know how I want to talk about this. For the women on trail, I also learned a trick. I'd use beef jerky bags. Maybe I don't want to go into that. If I ever make a different video just for women, I'll talk about that. We'll skip that for now. All right, I only have 2 more things left. Got a medium-sized pod and a large pod. There's like an insert where you could put your platypus, which I didn't use, is where I kept my AT guide. I could cut a lot of weight, but this was a strange year. Possibly was gonna skip up more as the national parks were closed. So that's why I actually carried the whole book. I carried a pen. Every night I would circle where I stayed, write down my mileage, check marks, scenic views I saw, and that was addition to journaling on my phone every single night. If you're gonna go with Hyperlight mountain gear, I know, they're so expensive in the exact shape of the pack. I cannot recommend them enough. In this pod, on the very bottom of my pack, I sleeping quilt and Enlightened Equipment, Revelation 20 degree. Yeah, I got a 20 degree. I think I probably would have upgraded to like a 10 degree because I was cold in the beginning. I was really cold. We had 3 nights of freezing. We had snow. We had some like hypothermic rain. It was really a cold spring, I think. It's a little bit difficult to stuff inside this pod. It takes more time than using a regular stuff sack, that's for sure. It was so worth it. There's lots of reviews about all of this stuff on the internet, so I'm not going to do a full review. I'm already talking too much. Small pod was kind of a hodgepodge of different stuff. So on top were the clothes that I wasn't wearing for the day and extras. A North Face, a woven hat. You probably saw this in my videos if you watch them. Don't know if I'd recommend this. I actually had a cold head a lot, especially because my puffy did not have a hood, so that's something I would have upgraded. These are the REI Co-op fleece gloves, pretty lightweight. However, again, I don't know if I could recommend these. They're great for when it's dry weather, but when it's rainy, they are useless. I didn't have rain mitts. I got desperate one day and had a plastic bag over my hands trying to keep them warm. This is what I wore in the summer to sleep in. I wore this in underwear. I was looking for bottoms, but then I got sick. I picked this up from a Walmart when I was, I don't know what town. Extra underwear. I used the Ex Officio. Ex Officio runs large, so at least for women, maybe size down. I wanted contacts because I wear contacts in my everyday life. When I wear my glasses, I have a hard time seeing. I think because of the strength of my prescription. The AccuView One-A-Days, this is what I would recommend. Your hands are going to get dirty. Every morning I had a fresh pair. I washed my hands with soap before I put these in. And then I had my husband mailing me these. I carried about 3 to 4 weeks at a time. Sleep socks. These are a pair of smart wool socks. Did not hike in these, only had these for sleeping. On the front here, I would have my extra socks. I had 1 pair of smart wool and 1 pair of darn tough. I was going with the approach of like trial and error on trail to see which one I preferred, so then I was gonna start buying more of which one I liked. I actually liked them both for different reasons. I'd keep the other pair, that I wasn't using in here, and if they were wet and smelly, I'd put them in a Ziploc bag so that all of my stuff wouldn't stink. Similarly, I had 2 pairs of Injinjis. They were a little bit different. So the toe socks keeps you from getting blisters. This is a lot of weight in socks, but for me, my feet were really important. I also kept my pillow in here, the Arrows pillow, ultralight regular. I started with a different one that was 5 years old. It deflated on trail, so I got this from an outfitter in Damascus, I think. Sleeping in the winter, I went with the Cuddle Duds route, which are fleece pajamas. I don't know. They're actually lighter than merino wool. They're so much cheaper too, which is actually why I went with them. A medium bottom, small top. Someday would I get some merino wool ones? Probably, if I had extra money. I didn't mention, this is also waterproof or water resistant, and it did a good job. None of my stuff ever got wet, even when we downpoured. About something like my electronics, I keep it in a Ziploc bag inside of my stuff sack. Here I kept my attachers for my quilt. They attach it to the pad. These were gold. And then I kept some letters that my husband had sent. So electronics bag. I'm filming this right now on my iPhone 11. That's the only camera gear I took with me. So my charger, Anchor power cord, I think this is a 20,000. Comes inside of this pouch. You could probably ditch it to lose weight. I just kept it. This thing weighs like a pound because I wanted to do videos. That's why I brought it. I have its charger cord, iPhone charging cord. I really should have dropped this and sent this home. I didn't need this at all because I had a double wall port charger so I could charge both my battery bank and my phone at the same time. If you're stressing about how you're going to keep your stuff charged, don't. Let me say that over. At least from Georgia to mid-Virginia, that's the only experience I have, and a little bit up north. Don't worry about it. There's going to be enough spots, and that's even during COVID when things were closed and I was still able to charge it. Can't speak to the northern part. Wish I could. I am rambling. Let's move this on. On my pack, I kept a bandana. I ended up using a P-rag. I know, gross, ew. I'm not gonna go into it. In my front, I kept my rain gear. This is the REI Co-op rain pant. This is an extra small and it was still a little bit long on me. I'm 5'4.5". These worked out well. I was pleased with them. Rain jacket I have, is it called a Marmot Precept Eco. It was a little bit lighter. I was afraid of the durability, but for me, again, I only went about, 550, 600 miles. Didn't break down. I think this thing wetted out once or twice in the Grayson Highlands when we were going through, I don't know if that was a tropical storm. I don't know what that was, but we were going through, can I say the word hell? We were going through hell. Freezing. In the front, I kept a trowel. This got from REI, the Deuce, number 2. I had my poop bag. I probably shouldn't say that. Wipes in here, hand sanitizer, toilet paper. I actually kept a compass inside of my potty bag. From what I had read, the times that people get lost on trails when they're going behind a tree and they get disoriented and they can't find their way back. You good? So that if I ever got lost, I probably wouldn't be with my pack. I wouldn't have had access to this. So a little tip, I don't know. And then like I said before, my tent stakes went on the bottom of this. In one side pocket, I kept my water bottle with my filter. This is a Sawyer Squeeze regular. It worked out fine. Back flushed it at hostels and in hotels. No problems with that. When I say no problems with that, when I got sick from water, it was from a virus, not from a bacteria. This thing did its job. I just ran into a really rare fluke of there being a virus in the water, and I also have a poor immune system. So I don't think you'll get septic shock. Sawyer should work. In my side pocket, I kept a full bottle of Dr. Bronner's. This is overkill in any other year. The unscented kind, I think Bear actually liked mint. When I left for trail, hand sanitizer was off the shelves. I had to wash my hands until someone gifted me some hand sanitizer. I would pour a little soap in and some water, and you'd get a lather inside of the bag and rinse off with clean water. I was one of the few people who got a tag before Emma Calola shut down. I was 1266, March 17th. On the other side, I kept my Polycro. I bought this from Gossamer Gear. You can get a 2-pack for $10. I put this underneath of my tent as a footprint. I actually ripped one of them. This I would recommend. It saved my tent floor from the times that I had to sleep on roots because there was no other options like roots and rocks. I do think it helped my floor from wetting out. Hip belts, left side, snacks, right side, head net bug spray. I would get a different knife. Thing was not appropriate for the trail. Look how much it rusted. Opinel knife, they're wood swells. I'm planning to upgrade to like a Spyderco pepper spray. I ran into 5 or 6 dogs just like running around. A couple of them really made me nervous. I had this ready in case I needed a pepper spray dog, a human, or maybe a bear, I don't know. Slept with this next to my head every single night.
I also kept my headlamp in my hip belt pocket. It's a black diamond spot 325.
Bought a Patagonia fanny pack from REI. I really wanted a Dyneema pack. Everybody's distribution was on hold for Corona, so I couldn't get one. So I got this. My main pocket, my wallet, I kept some cash, my credit card. Here's where those pharmacy pill bags really came in handy again. My headphones. I carried this stuff, not the whole bottle, put it on my face and on my hands. Something I would do differently when starting is get sun gloves. They might not look cool, but my hands looked horrible. Right, Kevin? My hands looked horrible.
Yes. Age 20 years.
Maybe more, they aged more than 20 years. In the front pouch, screen stick. I think the Kentucky crew taught me this. It was really nice to pull this out. Kept a couple pair of contacts up here, chapstick, and then a little hand sanitizer. King poles were black diamond. I don't remember the name of them. These are 5 years old. An aerodynamic handle on it. Worked out well. I'm talking forever. So my outfit, my shorts, I'll put a picture in, are Osal brand. It's a running brand. They're my favorite shorts for running. So I figured if they were my favorite running shorts, they'd probably work on trail. They're the, I want to say Roca, but I don't think that's right. They worked out really great. My top is a Patagonia Capilene Air Graphic Tee. I think that's what it's called, in extra small. This thing is really soft, awesome. Don't believe all the hype though. It's supposed to be smell resistant. This thing smelled really bad. For a fleece, I've had this thing for like 5 years. I got it from a TJ Maxx. It's a Columbia micro fleece. It was actually pretty lightweight, a size small. My sports bra is from Academy Sports. BCG brand. I was satisfied with it. I don't know if I sent these home in summer. I was about to. Brand called Bayleaf. You can get these on Amazon for like $25. These things are really nice quality. I hiked in these for probably about a week straight without washing. They didn't like stretch out. Do seem to run a little bit big. These are small and usually I wear medium. Maybe consider sizing down. Compression sleeves on every single day. This is by a brand, Pro Compression. I have a bad history with stress fractures in my shins. I also treated these with permethrin. All of my gear that wasn't undergarments had permethrin on them. These worked out great. I did get some rashes in them. I was trying to wean myself off of them when I ended up getting off trail. This is the hat that I wore constantly. I don't know what brand it is. It's a cheap hat with a long bill, like a running hat, super like see-through. I went through 2 pairs of sunglasses. Broke one, lost another one. I actually liked having sunglasses. This is the watch I wore, just a regular Timex watch because I wasn't going to take my Garmin out on trail. I had a buff, wore this thing every day, really helped keep the sun off of the back of my neck. I was about to cut this thing down before I got off. And then my shoes are the Brooks Cascadia shoe. I can't do zero drop, my Achilles won't handle it. When I put them on, I felt like I was wearing my running shoes. A good fit, they worked well. I had 1 water bottle in my backpack. And because I have a poor arm reach, I ended up getting these aqua clips, hang it right off of my hip belt. And I thought this thing worked out really, really nicely. I almost forgot to do my ditty bag. But this bag itself is a Sea to Summit Ultra Cell 4-liter. I had my glasses in a case that was pretty cheap and lightweight. Something that I found online that was really cool are these ear grips. They help keep the glasses behind your ears and without sliding down your nose. Like if you just look up sports ear glass holder on Amazon, that's where I found them. I got a whole pack of them for, I don't know, $10. I kept a small towel in here that I wiped down condensation on my tent. This is my rock bag. Again, this was part of the Light AF bear bagging kit. I was really pleased with the cordage in it. First aid kit, I had antiseptic wipes. All these little bags again are the pharmacy pill bags. Benadryl because I don't think I'm allergic to bees, but I wanted something just in case. A tick key, Pepto-Bismol, only used it on that morning that I got really sick before we realized how sick I was. Dayquil, Tylenol. I don't know if I would have brought these if it wasn't for coronavirus. I didn't get it, but I wanted to be able to treat my symptoms until I could get to a hospital in case I did. I also carried a leave. I usually kept that in my fanny pack. I used the leave instead of ibuprofen because the pills would last longer. A couple needles in case I needed to sew or puncture anything. Band-aids, repair tape in here for my tent if needed. More assorted band-aids, probably overkill. Moleskin, I use this on my big toes. It's like a moleskin tape thing. It's actually pretty cool. Things of KT tape, and in case I had knee injuries flare up or if my shins were becoming an issue. Glide, which I never actually use. Earplugs in a little case. You're gonna need them. Everybody snores out there. Oh, this was where my leave was. Tweezers and nail clippers, just a little guy. My hairbrush was one of these little flip out things. Didn't like it, it damaged my hair. I ended up chopping it all off anyways. At the bottom of this, I kept a knee brace that I ended up sending home a couple weeks before I got off trail because I have an old knee injury. Extra hair ties. This little guy was amazing. It's this little ball I got on Amazon. It's the brand Foot. It looks like it says Foot on it. I rolled my calves out, my Achilles, my feet, morning and night. I'd recommend this over like a cork ball. I have one more Ziploc bag. I swear I became a bag lady out there. I kept caps, extra caps for my water bottles. On the nights that it was freezing, I'd take my Sawyer off, cap it up and put it in here and then sleep with this bag to try to keep my filter from freezing. Okay, super quick. I'm just gonna insert this because I forgot it. There's this brand called Road ID. The silicone bracelet is this etching where you can put your name, where you're from, 2 emergency contacts, and then like another line where I put no allergies, and then I put my medical condition. If you get really sick, like I did, I was still able to say my husband's telephone number. Iceberg knew that I had this on me with my emergency contacts. Something that I will do moving forward is get a Garmin Spot or some sort of Garmin like in-reach device. I was really lucky when I got sick that it was in a place where we had service. I was really blessed to be in the scenario that I was in. So moving forward for me, it can go down really quickly. I would probably be getting some sort of emergency device. Wow, this is way longer than I thought it would be. This is what worked for me, hiking from Georgia to mid-Virginia from middle of March to early June. Yeah. If there's any questions, drop a comment and I'll try to address it. For anybody watching this, thanks for sticking along since being off trail. Getting back into triathlon training. I actually have a triathlon race tomorrow. I don't know how well it will go since I'm really out of shape. I might put more videos out of adventures and things. Thanks for watching.